first step is just go to the google.com. Okay, search for IntelliJ IDEA download. Okay, you will see here the first link is the suggestion link itself. Download IntelliJ IDE. Okay, idea. So just once you open this download page of this IntelliJ, so you say you see two tabs or two section. One is the ultimate version of the IntelliJ, another is community version. Okay, this is a commercial version, but they give for a free trial. You can try it out. But I'm going with the community edition. Okay, so that we don't need to pay. Okay, so in the community edition also. Okay, in the both the community and ultimate edition, they support three flavor of IDE for three different operating systems. Windows, Mac, and Linux. So I'm going to install it on Windows, right? So I'm going to click on this Windows tab and then click on this download button to download the installer. The installer in Windows version is, it will be .exe. Okay, so it will, once you click on download button, it will start downloading the IDLC 2019.2.4. Okay, so a recent version I'm downloaded. So once you click on the download page of your Chrome, I'm using a Chrome browser, so it will say the downloading progress bar. So because it's around 580 MB of the installer file, so based on your internet connectivity, it will go for some time. Once it is downloaded, click on the show in folder. So it is in my download folder. So the exe file name will be IDEA IC hyphen 2019.2.4.exe. So double click on this installer file. Okay, so the pop-up, you will see the pop-up saying that do you want to allow this app to make changes in your device. Okay, say yes. By default it will be no, just make it as, change it to yes. Once you say yes, then the installer opens up with the saying the welcome to the IntelliJ IDEA community edition setup. Click on next. Okay, so it will suggest you to install on a particular location. On Windows by default, you know, it suggests in the program files. So if you want to change it to the installation location, you can change it, or you can continue with that. So it requires at least 1 GB of the hard disk space. So then you can choose whatever you want to have a shortcut on desktop, other stuff. I'll just go with the default, and then you click on the next. It's going to install this JetBrains. Okay, so it will start extracting the necessary files, and it will start the installation. So it will take for a while. You can just wait for a couple of minutes. So then it will be installed. Okay, so then so in the completion window, it will say completing the IntelliJ IDE community edition setup. Click on finish. Okay, if you can check this checkbox so that it will run immediately, or you can just go to the start menu and open it. So I just click on this checkbox, run IntelliJ IDEA community edition, and just say finish. Once you click on finish, so it will be saying whether you want to if you have already IntelliJ settings in your system, we want to import use that, or I will say don't import. Because first time I'm installing it, I'll say do not import the settings. So it will open it will open this IntelliJ IDE like this, IntelliJ IDEA community edition. I'm using 19.2. So this will be a kind of opening page. Okay, once the IDE is launched. So there are two versions of theme you can use. One is a Dracula, where you see the background as black, and the different keywords and variables in different colors. Okay, so I'm going to use this light version of theme, UI theme. So I'll click on this light version and say next default plugins. If you don't want to install any plugins, you can just go to skip remaining and set defaults. I'll just click on because I want to install few plugins. I'll say next default plugins. Okay, so once this comes, I'll keep it same. Okay, I don't do any change here, and click on featured plugins. Okay, so I want to install this Scala plugins. Okay, basically it will install the SPT related stuff. Okay, so basically we are going to develop a Scala based project, right? So basically I'm going to install the SBT, which is going to be a simple build tool or Scala build tool for your Scala projects. Okay, so once you install this, click on the install. It will start downloading the SBT. It will start installing it. Okay, so we are going to use the SBT based Scala projects for developing Spark application. Okay, so once this is complete, it will say install, and click on the start using the IntelliJ IDEA. So will be your welcome page to IntelliJ IDEA. So either you can create a new project, or if you have already a project, you can import, or you can open it, or if you want to just check out from the any version control, you can do that. Okay, so first time I'm doing it, so let me create a new project. Click on this new create new project. So the opening page, after clicking on the create new project, this window will be open. I will go and click on this Scala, which there we are going to create a Scala project, right? So it will say whether you want to, the different build tools are available. I am going to start with the SBT based project, so I'll just click on SBT. Then it will ask you to enter the project name. So I'll just enter the project name here. Okay, the name of the untitled one, I'll say my project name is Apache Spark 101. Okay, and change the Java JDK version. So recent version of Spark supports from Java version 1.8. You can choose whatever the version you want from the 1.8, whatever the latest version from 1.8, either from basically either from 1.8 or above. Okay, you can choose that. SPT version, I'll go with 1.3.2, and the Scala version, so Spark 2.4.4, which is the latest version I'm using for this video series. It supports from a Spark Scala version 2.12. Okay, so I'm just choosing 2.12.8, okay, as a Scala version, and I'll say finish. Once I say finish, so it will be coming like this. So it will just suggest you some tips. Okay, just say if you want to see that, just click next tip and see, otherwise just click close. So once this actually setting up your project structure, once this project structure is set up, you can actually the project structure will be something like this. Okay, so let me minimize my recording window. Okay, so the project structure will be I'll close this, minimize this. Yeah, this is your project structure. Okay, so you will see there, this is the project name. Inside that you will have a source folder. This is the target folder. Okay, this is the idea, the project idea, ID related some settings will be there. Okay, this will be a build related stuff, will be project build stuff will be there. So mainly the source code will be in the src folder. The .scala files you will be creating in this src folder. And inside target, once you build the project, the jar file will be in the target folder. Okay, in the target folder it will be there. Okay, so now so basically what happens is once you have a Scala project, when you want to execute on your cluster, you need to convert that project into jar, because Spark underlying uses the JDK, right? So you need to actually build your Scala project as a jar, then execute on the cluster. So I am going to run all these programs in the IDE. So you just right click on this Scala file and execute it, but behind the scene it will just convert the Scala files source code into the class files or the jars, and it will execute on the the Spark cluster. Okay, so we are going to run it on the local mode. That's no problem, but I'm saying when you run it on the cluster. Okay, so there are two things you need to do. There you see there is a source folder, target folder, and there is a build.sbt file. This is a very important file where you specify your dependencies. So what version of Spark you are going to use it, and what is the different Spark libraries are there, right? For Spark SQL, then Spark structure streaming, and Spark machine learning, Spark ML, and the GraphX, everything. So what are the library you are going to use? You have to provide that. So I'm going to use the Spark SQL the latest version of Spark, which is from I think Spark 2.x. So they started putting all these things in the the RD operation as well as the Spark SQL related stuff in the Spark SQL library itself, the package or class itself. So this is your architect. This is the thing. This is a group ID, I guess. This is the artifact ID, and then this is a version. Okay. So just put it here. This is a way you need to specify your dependency. So in Maven, if you are aware of Maven project, so in the pom.xml file, you'll specify the dependency tag, right? So where you provide this group ID, artifact ID, and group ID the version. Similarly, in the SBT projects, in build.spt file, you have to provide this dependency. So what it will do, it will go and download the what are the jar files which is required for Spark to use the Spark SQL. It will just download it. Okay, you can see here. So once I run it, you can just go to the SBT and you can just do the refresh here. Just if you click on there, there will be a refresh, right? Refresh all SBT projects. Then it will just start downloading these dependency jars. Okay, so it will start dependency jars. Once it is downloaded, it will take a couple of minutes. Just wait for it, and you will see in the if you expand this the external libraries. Initially, it will be SDK, whatever the JDK file, JDK version you choose. Apart from that, all this you see here, Spark related jars and Hadoop related jars will not be there. Once you put this dependency and refresh the SBT project, then all this jar will be downloaded automatically. Okay, so based on internet connectivity, it will take some time. Okay, so just be in your mind. So now you expand the SRC folder and go to the main and Scala. Okay, right click on this. Okay, right click on this, go to new and Scala class. Okay, so in the Scala class, either you can create a class or object. Scala object will be a singleton. Okay, where you don't need to create an object for, you just directly can, it will have the main method, you can write your code. Okay, so I'm going to use the Scala object. Okay, you can choose Scala object and provide the name and say okay. So this is my the Scala object file name, which is create underscore first underscore app underscore Apache Spark 101 underscore part underscore 1. So by default it will create dot Scala. Okay, this is my Scala object class. Okay, so what we are going to do is, so by default it will just come with this object, the file, the whatever the object name you given while creating the file. Then you have to put the main. This is a main method, which is a entry point of your Scala object class. Okay, so in the Scala object, so you'll have this you need to put this main method, which takes the argument as array of string. Okay, so it returns if you are very familiar with the Java, it will like a public void main function. So then I'm just putting a print statement saying started, and another print statement for printing the first Apache Spark 2.4.4 application using IntelliJ IDE in Windows 7 or 10. Okay, just printing this message. So so from the Spark 2.x version, integrated Spark session object to connect to the Spark cluster and run your Spark code. So that's why we are creating a Spark session object. So it has a builder method. So just say Spark session dot builder dot app name, provide the application name. Okay, and you have to provide the master URL. So master URL can be based on your cluster. So right now we are going to run it on local mode, which is in IntelliJ IDE itself. So I'm just giving a master as local of a star in the rectangular box, in the square bracket, which means a star means for multi threads, actually multi-process or multi-threads. If you are actually using a yarn cluster or in standalone Spark cluster, so you just provide that URL. If it is a yarn, you can just provide a yarn. Okay, if it is standalone managers, if it is a Spark standalone manager, Spark : that IP address and the default port is 7077, and then say get or create, which will create a Spark session object. Once you have Spark session object, actually I'm going to uh, avoid the info log. So I'm just setting the log level as error so that it will just uh, ignore the info logs. Okay, because I don't want to show a lot of info logs in the console, the terminal. Okay, so once then what we are doing is we are just creating a simple Scala object, which is a collection object, which is a list. Okay, so I'm going to create a Scala list which contains these string values. Okay, spark 1 2 spark 3 hadoop 1 2 and spark 4. Okay, just collection list with the 6 string values. So if you want to this is a simple Scala collection object, right? If you want to convert this into RDD is nothing but resilient distributed data set, which is core of Apache Spark, right? So if you want to create, you need to use the parallelize method, which is a part of Spark context. So what this parallelize method takes, it takes a Scala object, Scala collection object. It can be a list or map or whatever, or it can be a tuple also. And you can actually pass how many partition you want to create. So you can provide, right now we provided 3. So this parallelize method will convert this the Scala collection object into RDD with the partition 3. Okay, so once you have RDD, you can just do the Spark RDD transformation or RDD action operation. What is RDD transformation operation is? So you have a RDD which is a names underscore RDD. You can apply some transformations like filter is nothing but you can just from the out of 6 items, if you want to get only the 4 items, which is like the starting with the Spark keyword, it will just you can use the filter for filtering. Okay, for filtering you can use that, and also you can actually say if you want to change the you can do the some if you want to change this string into different formats, like I want to convert into uppercase or lowercase. If it is as uppercase, the strings values are uppercase, you can convert to lowercase. If it is a lowercase, you can uppercase. So all this transformation, right? So when you do the transformation on particular RDD, the resultant will be a new RDD. Okay, you will not get the actual result from that RDD, the values from the RDD. It will get the new RDD. It's always when you apply a RDD transformation, you get a new form of RDD, which is a derived RDD, you can say. Okay. There is another function, another operation called RDD action, which you can apply on RDD. That time it will go and execute your RDD. Okay. Whatever the function, or action operation. Say example, I am applying here collect. Collect is the one of the RDD action operation. Okay. When you do collection, so let me complete this line. In the 20th line, what I'm doing is I'm taking this names RDD. Okay, there is a transformation called map, which actually used for iterating each element in your RDD, and actually I'm iterating. So this is the anonymous function. Okay, so in anonymous function, you can just take this is the function. The all RDD transformation and actions, it takes function, right, to do the operation. So transformation, you pass some function. What is the function we are passing? You take each element, convert into uppercase. That's the function, anonymous function I'm passing. So this keyword actually you can use it in Scala. If you are using in PySpark, then you have to use the lambda actually to write anonymous function. In Scala, it is very easy. Just use the equal and greater than symbol to write the anonymous function. Okay, then it will actually convert your elements in your RDD to uppercase, and actually I'm doing the collect operation, which actually collects all the elements from the RDD. Okay, so this is going to collect, means it is going to retrieve all the elements from this RDD because you are applying the action operation. And so once you have a collect, you will get the again the Scala collection object. This is the pure Scala function which iterates each element in your Scala collection and print it. This println is a method which actually taking each element from whenever this user for each, take the element and print it. That's what you're doing. Let me run this program. You can run using, you can just right click on this main function, just say run this class, or you can go to the run method, run menu in the toolbar. Okay, just run it. So it will start executing your Scala project, which is Spark the code which you have written on this Scala class. So it will just create the Spark session object, and it is going to create the Scala collection object and convert this into uppercase and printing it. That's what you are doing it here. So all your elements in your RDD has been converted into uppercase and it is printed. So that's how you need to. That's how you will use the SBT based Scala project to write your Spark code. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful. So you can follow this video and set up your IntelliJ IDE, and you can execute Spark code. Okay.